Welcome back everyone to the SQL Professor. If you're new to the channel, welcome. What we do here is give you the tools you need to succeed as a database programmer or administrator. I draw on my 20 years in IT, nearly 10 years as an IT professor, to package up SQL skills and concepts so you can put them to use today. In this video, we're going to cover nulls and the so-called three-valued logic of SQL. In the prior video, we covered logical operators, and, or, and not. One of the things we didn't get into in the last video was the concept of null, and it's a very important concept in SQL. Null is unknown. It's very important to point out it's not known to be a blank or known to be zero. It truly is unknown. SQL as a programming language has three-valued logic, and I have it listed here: true, false, and unknown. So let's go through this. It kind of adds some elements to the so-called truth table. As everyone knows, true and it with true is a true value. 1 and 1 is 1. True and false means it's false. Both elements need to be true. Otherwise, if one or both are false, you get false. With null involved, true and unknown, if you have a comparison where you have one value or one side that is true and the other side that evaluates as a null, it's still null. I don't know if it's true or false. False and unknown is also unknown. Unknown and unknown is unknown. I don't know what the value is. Same thing with not. If it's not true, it's false. If it's not false, it's true. If it's not unknown, it doesn't mean known. It's still unknown. If I don't know what it is to begin with and I negate it, I still don't know what it is. And this comes across in your select statements and your where clauses. So let's go through some examples. I'm going to create a client table, same table as in the prior video. A primary key, a name, age, city is our email confirmed. Now I'm going to go ahead and insert some data. The last 10 rows, there are some nulls. So here, here, and here, and here. I'm missing the email indicator, and there's no city in 4 places. Go ahead and execute that. We have 30 rows. So we just said there's 4 that do not have a city. Well, let's find them. Select from the client where the city is equal to an unknown value. I don't know what that value is, so I can't say the comparison is going to be right or wrong. So it defaults to nothing. You cannot compare null with an equality. There's a special syntax. If I want to select where the city is null, it is a fundamentally different command than city equals null. This is a mistake. If you see this, you should be questioning the logic of the SQL. There are my 4 rows where the city is null. It's different than city equals to null. It also comes across in the where clauses when you're doing comparisons. So if we execute this, we know now we have 30 rows total. There's 9 in Dallas, 8 in Houston, another 9 spread out between Austin and San Antonio, and 4 unknowns. If I select the name and the city from client, where the city is not equal to Dallas, I only get back 17 rows. Now we said earlier, or we saw earlier, that there are 9 rows for Dallas and there's 4 unknowns. The 4 unknowns get inadvertently dropped here. if you want to include them, you have to know your data. You have to know that nulls are a possibility. And you have to say when the city is not equal to Dallas or the city is null. Now I get back my 21 rows, and you can see my 4 individuals with an unknown city. One way this comes across, and you have to be careful about this, is let's create some fictitious data here in a comparisons table. And maybe this is a situation where you've run a test and you want to see, does the source equal the target? And you can see the test passed in cases 1 and 2. The test failed in case 3. And then I have some unknown values. Maybe the test results are not complete or inconclusive. Or maybe we expect it to have an unknown result in test case 6. And this kind of looks like it passes. Well, let's see what happens. If I select from the comparisons table where the source is not equal to the target, where are my failures? I only get back 1 row. Those remaining 3 rows with the nulls are masked because you cannot compare an equality, or in this case the opposite of an equality, negated equality, when there's nulls involved. So you have to get more sophisticated when you're investigating or querying your results, where the source is not equal to the target, or the source is null and the target is not null, or the source is not null and the target is null. And now we get our 3 miscompares. Whether or not this is correct or not depends on your use case. So there might be some data where you expect, if you're implementing a new process and you expect it to find or not find, in this case, values in both cases, well, maybe null and null is okay, and then this is your comparison. Or maybe you just want to be able to pull back when either side is unknown and then do the investigation. A couple other examples. Let's pull back some batting data. This is creating a fictitious table. Actually, it has some real data. Player name, the year they played, number of home runs, number of stolen bases, and their batting average. So let's create that table. Load some data. You'll see here again we have some nulls for the stolen bases and the batting average here and there. If I look for my null stolen bases, I have 2, batting ID number 21 and 27. But then if I go ahead and say I want some data where the home runs are more than 10 and the stolen bases are less than 20, which could apply here, but it's unknown. And so I do not get those results back. 21 and 27 are missing here. If I want those results, I need to pull back the information a little bit different, where the stolen bases are less than 20 or the stolen bases is null. And then I'll get 21 and 27. Based on your use case, you might want to return a default value. And this is where you can use the coalesce function. It returns the first non-null value in a comma-separated list. So if you look down this list, it will return the number of stolen bases. But for Salvador Perez and Bryce Harper, because the stolen bases are null, it will return a 0. And you can see Salvador right here and Bryce right here. So the null value, that unknown value, is a complexity in SQL. It's something you have to be familiar with, and you have to understand your data. Sometimes nulls are not allowed. That can be enforced at the table definition, and then things become a little bit simpler. But if nulls are allowed in your data, in your use case, you need to be aware of some of the complexities. So hopefully this helped, a brief walkthrough through three-valued logic and some of the examples. If you like more videos like this, please go ahead and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.